Okay, I'll go ahead and get kicked off, and we'll let other folks come in as we join. I want to thank everybody for joining for this special webinar that is not officially part of the Ask the Expert series, but we're going to go ahead and count it. My name is Ross Mulcair, and I am the Director of Member Services and Business Development here at the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States, better known as DISCUS. We bring this webinar here today to help inform our craft members and make them aware of some opportunities that we have available to provide some more information specifically for craft members of DISCUS and help craft distillers get access to better information so that they can compete in the spirits marketplace. Our expert today is Marina Velez, Director of Research from EPG Specialty Information, who you might know from the Liquor Handbook. And we had great success last year putting together a special craft edition of the Liquor Handbook for Discus Craft members. We decided to bring it back this year for sale just for Discus Craft members. So and we also have Hassan Bakir, the Director of Economic Studies at Discus, who obviously knows a whole lot about research and the spirits marketplace as well. So I am going to hand this over to our actual experts, let them take it away and do everything. And if anyone has any questions or anything that they would like to ask, please feel free to pop them in the chat or the Q&A as we go. And with that, I will hand it over to you, Marina.
Thank you for having me. So today we're going to be talking about the craft edition of the Liquor Handbook. And we just want to make sure that, everyone in the craft world has the opportunity to have access to a lot of the data that the bigger suppliers or players in distilled spirits have, so they can make just as informed business decisions, for their own companies. So this data that is going to be in this book is going to let you stay competitive. We focus on category trend analysis, brand performance, and category development. And so this is going to help you make business decisions. For example, you're taking a look at the overall industry. You may have questions like, should we be, what's our portfolio or innovation strategy? Should we be expanding? If you're in, say, for example, gin, a craft gin, is there an opportunity for your business to jump into the growing spirits RTD segment? Perhaps you might be looking at, should we be expanding? Or this data can help you understand, should we be creating better targeted marketing or promotional programs? What kind of predictive analytics are you going to need to anticipate emerging trends? So we cover a lot of that in the report itself. And this is going to help you also in terms of the trends that are emerging. How do you assess the product stocking for your respective retailers? And for a lot of these categories, should you be looking at different ways to promote them? For example, maybe it's educational classes or tastings or events to drive specific traffic at retail. So these are the types of things that will help you move your business forward, and is all driven by data. So with this particular report, it's going to provide a comprehensive source of information on the entire distilled spirits industry and its trends. We cover all 12 categories, so from straight whiskey to gin, vodka, tequila. So some of the data that is included is we have final full year 2025 volume consumption by category. And we provide 2 and 3 year historical data for each of the categories. We have projections as well. So you're going to see the 26, 27, 28. And then there's also multi-year historical data. So if you want to take a look at, say you're in gin, what was, the volume consumption for gin for the last 10 years, you're able to take a look at that. And a lot of our clients use this data as inputs into their own business intelligence platforms as well. And many people do have their own internal projections for their businesses. So this data is going to help them out from that perspective as well. So we have volume consumption by category. It's ranked by state. We have per capita consumption by category and state. The data is classified domestic versus imported consumption by category. We do have trends for the on-premise and the off-premise. We have analysis of over 500 leading brands across the 12 spirit segments. We will classify the top 150 distilled spirits brands. We provide a category development analysis, so it gives you an idea of the different opportunities in each segment. We have trends, chapter summaries for all the categories. And specifically for the craft businesses, we have regional snapshot of the U.S. craft distilling industry featuring historical trends and the state-by-state ranking of the operating craft distilleries. So we're going to give you some examples of everything that I've just kind of touched upon as we get in here. So these are actual charts that you would be seeing in the report. So as you can see, we break everything down by imported and domestic for each of the different segments, so you can see how each one performed.
Marina, before you move forward, could you please just like give us an overview of how you compile this data, whether you get like from the individual companies, and also in our industry, we basically have like the 3 different levels of the data. One is shipments, one is depletions, one is retail sales. The shipments is from supplier to wholesaler. Depletions are from wholesaler to retailer, and the retail sales are from off-premise and on-premise to the consumers.
Right.
And where this fit, yeah, that will be helpful. And also just like a little overview of the like the liquor handbook as well. I think it's like the first edition I saw, like I think dates back to mid 1950s. So it sort of shows the significance of this publication for the industry.
Sure. So the original report, yeah, we're well over 30 years compiling this report. So all the data that we report is going to be in depletions, consumption depletion, and how we pull it together. So we start each year, we reach out to the various different suppliers in the industry, and start obtaining what they've reported they did the prior year. So again, think us reaching out to the Bacardis, the Brown-Formans, the Diageos of the world, and we start compiling all that data. So we're sizing up each of the different categories. We also had partnerships with wholesalers and then our retail partners as well. So we're obtaining insightful trends and guidance from how each of the different tiers performed and how different brands and categories performed and trends and then projections for the coming year as well. So we pull all that together and we'll size, and I'll get to a chart where it's like the leading brands in each of the chart, in each of the categories. And then that's going to help inform how we come to this particular chart, which is the overall category.
Yeah, very good. And I believe you get data from NABCA as well, or?
Yes, for the control states, we do get the data from NABCA, and then we also take a look at like this the state tax revenue and federal tax informations as well. So these two are 2 additional charts that we have. So we have the same type of charts for every single category. So this here is giving you an overview of the entire spirits industry by share. And then here's an example of just one for the ready-to-drink consumption. So this happens to be just a 5-year projection, but this is pretty interesting because in terms of the distilled spirits overall, RTDs were by far the best last year. So, but we could see this projection of where it was in 2021 versus where it was in 2025. So this is one of the interesting growth sectors. We have this chart that takes into account the top 150 spirits, and this is all the categories. So this is kind of interesting because even just like 4 years ago, you would not have seen as many RTDs in the top 10 as you see here today. But we have the top 150, and it's analyzing over 500 of the leading brands that we track. So these are charts that you're going to see in each of the different categories. And so you have the share of vodka here by suppliers, and then you have the leading brands of vodka. So these type of charts, you're going to see them in every single chapter. And this is the chart that I referred to in terms of leading brands. So we have each of these for all the categories. And so, we're reaching out to the suppliers. That's our first step is to get the data from them. And then we project what we think might be in, smaller brands in the category, but this is really focused on the leading brands within each of the categories. So we put together this category development index, and this is going to identify opportunities for expansion within a category. So we have it again for every single segment. And if this is really helpful for a lot of the suppliers, let's say if you're looking to either expand with a new product or acquire a specific product, and maybe it's in a particular state. So this gives you a good idea of how the category is performing within each state. So in this case, anything that's like for this whiskey, anything that's like in the yellow or orange is going to represent the greatest expansion for opportunity.
And just to give some detail about like what it really means, this is like you take the per capita consumption for each state, and then there is a national average,
Mm-hmm.
and then you index, you say the national average is 100.
Mm-hmm.
So 150 would mean that in that state, it is per capita consumption is 50% more than the national average.
Right.
Similarly, if it is 75, it is 25% less.
Right.
And of course, here they are in brackets, but basically, if it is yellow, it means it is somewhere 25% to 1% lower than the national average.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is correct. So obviously this happens to be straight whiskey, so not a surprise that, you have, Kentucky happens to be green, So, but yeah, so, and the interesting thing is to understand is that all the charts that you're seeing here in this report, they're all the same charts that are in our main liquor handbook report. So what you're not getting here versus what the regular report is, it's going to be a lot of charts that they have to do with taxes. It's information at a total level, but a lot of the key information you are getting in. So that's the beautiful thing about this book, that it's at a discounted rate, and you have access to the same kind of data that if this was being bought by, Brown-Forman, et cetera, you're looking at the same kind of data.
Yeah, in that regard, I think the couple of sections, one is taxes, one is the imports, which in fact are available on our website. And for export imports, we publish a quarterly report. and taxes, state excise taxes, it is also available in
Yeah.
what we call the state data book. I
Yeah.
think the only section that will be missing, like basically that the craft addition purchasers do not have access, is some supplier level information, which may be like the 5% of the total application.
Yeah, it's very little.
Yep.
You'll also be getting the chapter summary, so that it's usually 2 or 3 pages chapter summary, trends for each of the segments. Again, this is the full, nothing has been cut from here at all. And the good thing about the chapter summaries is because we do have partners in a lot of the different, like as I mentioned, the wholesalers, retailers, on premise as well. For EPG, our sister division is working on the magazine side of the business, and so we have a lot of relationships with, like I said, the on and the off. So we take trends, we do interviews, especially at the beginning of the year. We want to know how your business did, what keeps you up at night, what trends are you seeing, etc. So we try to incorporate all of that into the chapter summaries as well. So some of what you could do when you do have this data. So this is a good example of just trending at a total level, the consumption since 2014 all the way through 2025. So this is actual data. And as you can see, just for growth rate, it was 1.9 for last year, but you're able to be able to look at the data in this format for every single category. This just happens to be for total spirits.
Yeah, just a
Yep.
second, Marina. With that chart, like with the previous chart, like I think the one thing that so that we do not confuse people here, because these numbers include the spirits-based RTDs,
Yes.
which have been growing like 20 to 25%. That is why the volume numbers are positive. But for traditional spirits, like since 2023, they have been down like 2 to 4% per year.
Yes.
So
Correct.
Okay.
So, and I had made a comment on this. If we were to remove RTDs from the overall total, it would have been down. For the second year in a row, would have been down. Yeah, so here, the only thing that basically grew, the only 2 segments that basically grew was RTDs, as you can see, and tequila was just basically flat. But again, the type of data that you're seeing here is you're going to be able to have that data in the report. So you'll be able to look at it, like, for example, domestic, how do domestics perform? How do imports perform? You could break it down by, American whiskey, imported whiskey, non-whiskey, and be able to, analyze the categories that way. So this is same type of chart, but it happens to be for straights. So here you can take a look and see that the projections, we are all the way out through 2028. So in this case, we're not looking at any growth levels at this point going forward. But again, it gives you a good history, and a lot of our clients do have this information. And like I said, they will also integrate it into their own BI systems, run their own analysis, put together their own internal presentations. Maybe it's marketing plans, projections, etc. And then this one, because it was interesting to take a look at what has been growing, and this is the RTDs, so the same thing. And again, we're seeing the interesting piece here with the way you can actually visualize, the category's performance. You see how is kind of trailing off a little bit in terms of growth. Is starting to stabilize from the, 59-35% growth that you were looking at in 2023.
So we're not projecting another year of 130% growth in the RTD category.
No.
I think that might have been a one-time deal.
I know. Well, the 2021, I mean, it was coming off of the COVID, where everybody was kind of doing really good. But I think that you're going to be seeing the same thing like the hard seltzers, where they had that explosive growth, and then they're kind of, they're going to continue to definitely be uh, the growth engine, for the overall industry, but definitely not at the 60%. So this chart gives you like an overall pictures of the operating craft distillers by region. So again, this is in 2025, you saw some leveling off. This is your overall total, was down about 25%. And then by region. And again, this is, even though there's been some sharp declines, this is kind of reflecting there's more of a market rationalization. It's not that it's collapsing, it's just leveling off a bit. And I think, again, there was a period where there was just a lot of rapid growth. And now we're seeing some of that level off.
And I think, Marina, the one other reason was that the methodology that they used to calculate these numbers changed. So some of it is, in fact, just due to the methodology. We do not know, they do not reveal what percentage of that was due to the methodology change.
Right,
So
right.
that had an impact as well.
Yeah. So it and I think that's part of like it's not like it looks worse than it truly really is. This is a map that's going to give you the footprint of just, how many distillers are in each state. So we have a couple that have more than 100, and then you have a good chunk that are falling into the 50 to 99 distillers by state. So it's looking at, again, consumer interest in locally produced spirits it's remaining very strong. This chart, you're able to take a look at the consumer demos. And so what we are providing this year with for anybody who does purchase the Craft Distillers Report is a supplement that is going to include, for each of the 12 categories, a consumer category drinker profile. So you'll be able to take a look at, let's say, for example, this is whiskey, the gender breakouts, the generational, and then the race and ethnicity. So this particular data is from 2024, and because it's consumer data, it doesn't change dramatically from year to year. So a lot of the trends that you're seeing here, for example, you're not going to go from a 34% female straight whiskey drinker to a 75 in 2 years. So a lot of the data is constant, and so you'll be able to look at these in an individual supplement. So this gives you also a really good opportunity to take a look at who's drinking what. So that's pretty much it. So like I said, the craft edition is at a significantly reduced price versus the regular edition that we sell to the rest of the industry. It's about 68% savings. And then if you do purchase it, you're also going to get the consumer demographic supplement for free. And we're also, EPG does do different types of consumer research as well. And so we're also making available a report that just looks at the Gen Z segment in terms of, what they're drinking across the different categories. So it's not just like spirits, it's going to be spirits, wine, and beer. And, throughout the year, we do different kinds of analysis, deep dive analysis as well. So for those people who are, the craft members, we were going to be sharing with Discus these different reports as well.
Yeah, that is great news, Marina. And I think one of the samples we will share with the Discus Craft members just to see what they might get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for the future report, I don't know if we can make promises or we can just like say that we will try to provide them to those who buy the craft edition. But at least they will have a good idea what type of surveys you do and what
Mm-hmm.
type of reports come out, like by sharing that. I
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah, like we can share that link. They only have to use a code. I think the regular price is $199, but with that code, it will be free of charge for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that's
have
great.
I think the code is Discus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it will be included there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, so that's it. I don't know if anybody has any questions, if there was any questions in the chat.
Yeah, if anyone has anything that they would like to ask Marina or Hassan before we let them go, I want to thank them. Thank you, Marina, for all of the interesting information and to everyone at Liquor Handbook for putting together this craft edition. It is excellent. It's a great resource. We are thrilled to be able to provide it for our craft members.
Mm-hmm.
I know our members are always asking us for more information and more data about the industry and how they can better compete. So we're thrilled to be able to provide this for you guys. For anyone here or who is watching this recording later, please email membership@distilledspirits.org if you would like to purchase the 2026 craft edition of the Liquor Handbook. We have a special link that we will give you that you can purchase. Again, it is only available to active Discus Craft members, so please reach out to membership@distilledspirits.org or anyone on our membership team who you may know more personally, and we will get that for you. And we're looking forward to providing that information to everybody to get those consumer demographic profiles. I know that Gen Z report, I'm excited about reading it myself. So hopefully you guys all get that and enjoy it. So I'm not seeing anything come in on the questions yet. So I know we can wrap up a few minutes early here unless Hassan and Marina, you guys have anything else that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think we have to just like mention the price. We mentioned like it is 68% savings, but I believe it is $525 same price last year.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank
Same
you,
price,
Hassan.
yeah.
Sorry, I was too excited. I forgot to say the number.
And again, as I mentioned, that's a great value because you're getting the same, the same kind of data that's in the regular book at the higher price and it's allowing everyone to remain competitive versus, the bigger suppliers as well too. So
yeah, we're very lucky that Marina and her team have been such great partners to Discus and to the craft members of the industry. So we're thrilled to have that. Again, yes, it is $525 for the 2026 Liquor Handbook. Comes with those additional demographic profiles. Please email us, reach out to us. We would love to get this in your hands, and we will be following up with all of our craft members in the coming week to make sure that you guys have access to that information. So, Marina, Hassan, any final words you'd like to say to all of our fine folks here?
No, thank you so much, Marina.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and look forward to seeing everybody in the round.
Alrighty.